Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Nostalgic and welcome to a special live stream session of Banjo-Kazooie. I've been seeing the news just over the last weekend and everything happening with Hurricane Helene, and it's moved me a bit. It's like we have hurricanes, but seems like significant devastation that's going on out there, especially North Carolina, where we have whole towns that have been flooded away. I don't know. I felt like I needed to do something, so I have set up a Red Cross donation link, and they're donating pretty much as many as their resources as possible to helping people in need, just with immediate needs like food, water, shelter, all those different things. The Beardsley, welcome. Good to see you on the stream tonight. But yeah, if anything you can donate is appreciated, but even just supporting the stream is appreciated. If you drop a like, share it with anyone you can, that alone is very much appreciated. We do also have a guest on the line with us. We have Rare Rarrington, co-creator of Kooky Questions. Say hello there.
Altogether awesome.
And I apologize. I realized on the screen I didn't have you added there, so it's just maybe we'll say hello again there.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey everybody. Really glad to be here, man. It's just such a cool cause. Like, it's such an awesome cause, and like as soon as Drew told me about it, I was like eager to be a part of it, and luckily he invited me on, and yeah, man, it's just altogether this is just a win-win. It's a super good cause and a super good game, and it's just admirable, man. Love it.
Yes, of course. I mean, like, we'll just see if, like, which you were able to come donate to the cause. I did set a goal of $2,000, but any amounts that we are able to get from doing this, I think, is going to be a time worthwhile here. So, Beardsley, I do see you're talking about Aunt might lose her house to 6 inches of rain. Other friends are seeking shelter and high ground. Man, that's rough to hear, man. I hope that your aunts and your other friends are okay there. I do have some co-workers that were impacted in Tennessee. Like, I work for a bank, and we have sites both where I'm at here in Utah and sites in Tennessee. And yeah, they got hit pretty bad with the storm. Some co-workers that were impacted there. But yeah, this is going to be something that I think it's going to really kind of reverberate around the place. But without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and get going and play some Banjo-Kazooie here. Of course, this is not the first time, of course, I played the game for the channel. I really just wanted to play it just because like it's my favorite game. I love, and I kind of wanted to. I don't know. I felt like it was just a good game to cover and like kind of have a fun discussion about while we try to raise for this cause here. Sam, did you want to talk about a little bit of your history with Banjo-Kazooie?
Sure. And before that too, I just want to say like I feel like Banjo-Kazooie, as we said prior to the stream, is like a really good. I mean, for us, it's one of the relative things between us that like it was a comfort for both of us in like our younger years, and actually still. To this day, to a point, the music and just the community and the friends we've made with that community and the game itself and the creators of that game. But I think it's fair to say that as far as the Drewstalgia channel goes, I think it's kind of a staple of the channel, to be sure. I think everyone would agree on that.
Oh yeah.
And as far as my childhood and like my history with Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Kazooie wasn't one of the first games I played on the Nintendo 64, but it was one of the first 3D platformers I ever owned, and I think it was actually in 1998, either end of 98 or early 99, that I was able to get it from a little gaming store that actually was in Ferndale, Washington, where I used to live, and it was called Ron's Game World, and I kind of went in there just kind of wanting to experience new games. I had played NES, SNES, and I had gotten an N64 like many months like prior to that visit, and I just wanted some more games, man. And one of the cool things about those classic game shops, and still this day, you can kind of go in there if you're a young gamer and kind of tell them your interests. And in my case, it was I loved platformers. I told him I loved Donkey Kong and I loved Mario, Super Mario World, Mario 64, and those are my type of games that I absolutely adored. And he recommended Banjo-Kazooie. And so I gave it a shot, and it's been one of my favorite games ever since. And yeah, man, like I said, just a huge comfort in my life, and it seems to be a comfort for many other people as well.
Oh yeah, definitely so much for me. Gonna do just a little bit here.
Ding-pot, by the bench. Who is the nicest looking wench?
Why, it's Grunty any day. She really takes my breath away.
But yes, I love these characters. Even just from the first time I played this game, I was just impressed by just the fairy tale presentation, even just the animation of Grunty with their fingers waving, and just the way it told like a little bit of a twisted story, twisted fairy tale with of course Grunty. It's kind of like Snow White-ish, but with its own little rare flavor to it.
Yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of like fairy tales, like you said, and like there's so many elements of that, like be it like with talking bear, anamorphic animals, the witch baddie, but also the fact that like a lot of their inspiration came from that. Like Grant, I think it was Teddy Bear's Picnic or something like that, like that old song that inspired him actually to make Grunty's Lair's theme.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely love that vibe.
And this tune right here actually originally came from Project Dream. I can't remember the name of the character. It was like I can't remember, but it was like for a female character he composed for Dream, and then he brought it over to this game. Matter of fact, there were quite a few tunes from Dream that ended up making it into this game.
Oh yeah, Dream has been the gift. The Dream tunes has been the gift that keeps on giving. We've even got them as far as Viva Pinata. Like there's been tracks that Grant has just sort of reiterated in such great ways, and honestly, so many good melodies. I'm glad that he did, man.
It starts with Banjo sleeping. It's kind of funny, like it almost like it's like as he's starting a game exactly like Link and Zelda would, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. The best heroes need rest before their adventures.
Yes. And I'm saying that I'm playing the Xbox 360 remaster, which was honestly like really was one of the first. I think honestly one of the first like N64 remasters ever created, and it's an excellent one.
Yeah, I've never even considered that. I had to like think for a moment. I think you're right on that one. If not, it has to be one of the first for sure. And I absolutely love everything about it. It doesn't have some of the timing off, like on the music and such when it comes to like Tui. But yeah, I love everything about this port. And the note collection is a lot like more merciful as well.
Yes, much better for first-time players, although there are a few little things missing from the Xbox version. Like here, it's a pretty glaring one. There's not all these extra loud noises and sound effects going on, which is a pretty noticeable little omission there.
Yeah, there's some little sound effect changes, and the biggest one for me is the Banjo and Kazooie UI, like the faces that change to your
Yes.
health. That's the only thing that I'm not a fan of in the Xbox port.
Yeah, so the thing we'll see it up in is that, yep, there it is right there. And I think, from what I understand, it pretty much came from the Banjo-Tooie, that they just clipped an HD one from Banjo-Tooie and slapped it on, and they didn't have the changing faces there.
Yeah, but it's a good port, but I prefer the N64 for a few things like that.
Well, yeah. And I know, I like both of them very much there.
Oh, yeah.
Better
It's
than
really cool to me. That like Rare Replay era, and like especially with Smash Bros, like and seeing it firsthand with my niece. Like we've talked about this like sometimes prior, but like this new generation kind of finding, or new generations plural, really finding Banjo from either like the Rare Replay or the ports or like Smash Brothers, kind of like gauging an interest. It's really cool. It's really cool to witness that type of stuff, because it seems like, although that's always been happening, some of these events, like I said, Smash Bros and such, like bringing like upon all these new people's like interest in the series is just really cool to witness, man.
It really has. I think Banjo-Kazooie and Smash did do a lot to make people aware of the game, and you got to be in the biggest fighting game ever. And again, we've talked over and over again about like just where the opportunity doesn't seem to have been taken, at least so far.
Yeah, here's hoping. But
Yeah.
you know, I think it's been strange all these years, even since like 2014 with the Smash Bros stuff, like just the early like little rumors and like whispers of sort of at least Microsoft and Phil Spencer and like people at Microsoft and people in the game industry is like kind of at least hearing things and having some sort of discussion about Banjo. It seems like, especially recently with like the alleged project that people have been rumoring, I just can't help but wonder.
Allegedly. My goodness.
Very much emphasis on allegedly, but we live in hope, Drew.
Yes, we always do. Always do. So, and I will also mention that the Xbox 360 port here did have a nice little, with the characters that talk, they did do enhancements with like the models there. I think they even made like, it almost looks like they made new images with a lot of these.
Yeah, I don't know the process of that. A lot of them look really good. That's one of the other changes that are pretty good. But yeah, I think it was 4J Studios, they're known as, that actually did most of the port in collaboration with Rare. I don't know much about 4J Studios, but maybe I'll give them a little Google search here.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I really don't know much about them. Matter of fact, I didn't even think of that before we started here.
Because that's the only thing I know that they've done. I mean, I don't even think they're a Microsoft studio, but it says, yeah, 4J Studios is a British independent video game developer based in Dundee, England. Interesting. And they were founded in 2005. They've been associated with Minecraft, Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Tooie, as well as Star Trek Conquest, a game I'm not familiar with, and a game for the original Xbox, which I guess established their partnership somewhat with Xbox, which was called Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. There's a mouthful.
I did want to mention something here. We have our first donation, everyone. We have our first $10 donation from Vidi, from Vidi's Gaming Videos. Thank you so much. It warms my heart that you're donating to the cause. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Well, hey, that's awesome.
It really is.
Let me see here. Let me see if I can muster some up for today as well. But yeah, 4J, I guess, it seems as though that they've been a part of 12 projects, as well as Perfect Dark port. They were one of the support studios with Elder Scrolls Oblivion. A lot of interesting games. They were responsible for Minecraft skin packs as well. So a lot of different things in their portfolio there. Interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've always loved this, like, Clunko, like, the machine is too small for her. You know, it's like...
Wedges in barely.
Exactly.
I feel like Klungo, if you look at it, it looks like he modeled it to fit himself in there and didn't take Grunty's proportions into consideration.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, earlier on too, I forgot to mention, I heard it briefly, like Tootie's theme, it plays only a few times, but man, that is definitely another one that carried over from Dream, but definitely one of my favorite themes for sure.
Oh yeah, it's great. And also the Vidi there, just again, thank you for the donation. You're going to try to play the whole game in one stream. I don't think it's going to be all in one stream. We're kind of play it by ear. I imagine I'm going to try to get at least halfway through the game, but kind of play by ear and see how things are at that point.
Yeah, probably get a healthy chunk of it done with Drew's experience and like our experience in Banjo-Kazooie. I'm sure we'll get a decent healthy chunk done today.
Oh yes, for sure. The one other little thing that's not in the Xbox version is the ability to skip text. There was a nice little shortcut you could use to skip all text in N64 that they just cut out of the Xbox version for some reason.
Yeah, and I think, isn't there still something like that in Tui, but it's not in the Kazooie port for whatever reason?
I'm not sure actually.
I'm gonna check that. One of those tiny little facts about the ports that I'm not certain about for Tui's port. But Tui is definitely the one that I play more on Xbox. Banjo and Kazooie, I still slightly lean towards NSO, or it sounds weird to say NSO, but N64 or like the NSO sort of format, which have very minor differences.
Yeah, very minor. And I'd say that the NSO was like a good, solid way to play the game as it originally was. It really is. I enjoyed playing that version, and I like being able to. It's the first official version with save states, which I think is awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know why. Like I remember like the first time booting it up, just seeing the original logo boot up with the buzz bomb running into the logo, and like because like they stripped that from the Xbox version. I just remember seeing that like upscaled in like HD is just like, I don't know why, I was like, wow, this is just really nice. It's just really heartwarming to see this.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely really cool, the NSO stuff, and like it seems like they're still continuing, just kind of sprinkling in some of Rare's work still in different updates. Even the last update, actually, I was really shocked. The Battletoads Double Dragon. I mean, I bought that at Game On, where the expo that we went to. Actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I remember you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't think it would ever be on NSO.
Yeah, that's fantastic that I got there. I did want to also mention it. Just even these sprites there, they have this nice extra little sheen to them, and the draw distance is like pretty much as far as you can possibly see.
Oh yeah, the draw distance, especially with like Tui, is like, it's so nice. It's really nice to have Mayhem Temple in the background and have your game run more than 12 frames a second.
Yes, that is one aspect. Yeah, that is, and it's kind of funny. I kind of go back and forth on like preferring either Xbox or N64 when it comes to Tui, because Tui, of course, has really big weaknesses as far as like the frame rate and stuff. But I just like the controls a lot better. You know, that's kind of like where I'm kind of there.
Oh, I totally agree. In fact, I'm just still counting the days till they add Tui to NSO for that reason.
That would be awesome. And Vidi says, imagine if the N64 instructions said you can skip cutscenes by pressing this. Makes me think of Conker's Bad Fur Day when he says, like, if for whatever reason you want to skip any of these wonderful cutscenes, just press the L button.
Yeah, I think that's really smart with Conker too. It's like, and then of course, you'd have to have watched the cutscenes first at some point.
Exactly.
You were able to, but it's almost like Robin Beanland described it. It was like the cutscenes were like their Mario Star, and that game was the reward for whatever challenge you completed. Was the funny little animation in the cutscene.
That's actually a really interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like with Banjo-Kazooie, I feel like, I mean, as well as Conker, but like for me, I remember like at least my first playthrough is like just the exploration in of itself, especially in the massive worlds of Tui, as just kind of the reward in of itself, like the feeling of accomplishment of rescuing the Jinjos and gathering the pieces and expanding like your adventure or where you can access. I don't know, just a really simple concept that's just like really profoundly rewarding and awesome, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it is. And something that's just funny about Banjo-Kazooie is that everything talks, even the orange here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like. I mean, obviously there were some cartoons where like lots of objects talk, but something that predates Banjo-Kazooie, I think of anything where it's like every single object talks. I can't even think of a cartoon really off the top of my head. Yeah, definitely seemingly everything speaks, and I think that's why it has been such a in-joke at Rare, even if you watch the Rare replay behind the scenes, is that the quote-unquote big googly eyes on like absolutely everything was like a Rare trope, even like in the teams in Rare. Like, it's just hilarious.
It is, definitely. So Viddy says he tries to speedrun Conquer in Chapters mode because you can skip all the cutscenes in that. Yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. Just there's a one cheat code that lets you just go straight to the chapters there.
Yeah, that's true. And like my girlfriend, Celtica Arts on or Cell as well on Twitter, she constantly goes through, because like they give you the option to go through the chapters, like video gaming videos said, and like just you can practice at a part that say you're not good at, like the lava boarding race, for instance. And yeah, my girlfriend is really quite good at Conquer for that reason. She's just gone back and practiced different sections, which is a pretty cool feature.
The lava boarding section is pretty infamous. That's probably easily one of the most difficult parts of the game. And I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, I still needed to get the Beak Buster, which I didn't quite get around to yet.
Oh yeah, it's funny because like when it comes to like speed running, they always have like a layout, and I know I'm conscious of like the layout, but a lot of times my playthroughs differ. It's either me trying to do it quickly, or like probably in this case, us just discussing and just like running through the world almost like on autopilot. But
yep.
It's one of these games that we are able to do so. Especially you, I'm sure.
This is definitely an autopilot game for me. I played it, I can probably safely say, dozens of times in my life. So it's amazing game.
Absolutely. It's definitely, I mean, this is pretty obvious, I mean, with our Twitter presence and whatever, but definitely one of the games that is, I'd say, a staple for all of us. It's like, oh man, so much of what this team like developed, just, I mean, separate or together, just the developers that made up this Banjo-Kazooie team, just awesome stuff, and pretty awesome people, honestly, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. And we got to meet, I'm trying to think of the ones we met there. Grant Kirkwood was really the only one on the Banjo team, correct?
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that is actually true. David Wise and Kev Bayless contributed very much to different series, like especially Donkey Kong, but yeah,
yes.
That's true.
But yeah, and just say even me only meet one person who worked on this legendary game. That was fantastic, and we got to get some good insights into his music composition process and everything else like that. It was just really, really good time there.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think like for me, obviously there are some other people I would have loved to meet, but for me, that's got to be. I can't think of another time where I've met like that many of people I look up to in one just event like that, and that's super, super cool. We've talked about this so much, but it's like that's definitely a life remembering event for me. Like that's definitely a core memory.
Oh, for sure, definitely one for me as well. Yeah, I think, Viddy, I kind of agree with you there. I can do it most of the time without. I mean, I guess I'm kind of 50-50 whether or not I can do it without Des, because there's one part where I'm always doubtful whether or not I'll make it.
Can we even say the name? Does everyone know? Should we like?
I think
I know what you're talking about. It rhymes with Smingen Stoom.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the engine room is I think it's like even the most experienced banjo player can meet their doom there occasionally.
Yeah. Pigeon Broom is no joke. But yeah, I mean, the fact that like any fall that you make in that room is just instant death, and that's one of those times where as I said before, I definitely lean to the original build of the game, but that is one of the times I do prefer the mercifulness of the Xbox port is the engine room.
Oh yeah, especially because of the node system, like it makes the design in a way to where you have to do that first. But of course, if you play on an Xbox, you can kind of just wander around to it. And I think that especially for first-time players, that is probably over an overall better way of handling it there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definite stereotype joke, but like some of those 80s, 90s video games were, I mean, even into the 2000s and whatever, they're still merciless games. But yeah, definitely a lot of like colorful Nintendo platformers that were pretty brutal back in the day. He says, "Oh, video gaming said on a Banjo-Kazooie stream, one wondered, possibly joking, if Rusty Bucket Bay was designed by some random person who just dropped by Rare."
It does feel like, in a way, like it's such a difficulty spike from pretty much anything else in the game. Except, although I will say also, Furnace Fun is pretty, especially the first time around, is pretty challenging, and the final battle of Grunty is fairly challenging as well if you haven't done it before.
Oh yeah. In fact, that's another good story memory when I was a kid. I had rented Banjo-Kazooie a lot when it like first came out, and I think that might have been '98. And the first time, actually, that was Ron's Game World. I guess I brought it back and back and forth because as a child you don't really have currency. I remember I traded in for Gex, Enter the Gecko, which looking back is kind of silly, but I ended up owning both the games eventually. But yeah, just way back in the day, I beat the entire game. Didn't 100% everything, but I could never beat Grunty. It was actually the only part that I left the game on for quite a few years as a little child in the 90s, because Grunty was just insanely brutal.
Yeah, it definitely was. Here's another funny story about the final battle here, is that for some reason, when I first tried shooting the eggs into the things at the end, when I tried shooting forward, it didn't work. So I thought that the only way that you could get them into the holes in the statues was to do rear shooting, which is incredibly difficult, especially on the final statue.
So you activated the Ginginator exclusively that way the first time through, then?
Yes, exactly.
Oh no.
It was painful.
My girlfriend just walked in. Thanks for the drink, babe. And if you guys don't follow Cell as well on Twitter, definitely go check out Cell as well. She's been grinding a lot of Killer Instinct lately. I'd like to pat myself on the back in my contribution to her new addiction in that series.
Nice.
But yeah, go check out some of the art. It's pretty awesome. And she actually designed our Kooky Question logo. Me and her designed it. She arted it up for us. And we actually have some things we're talking about.
Yes.
For some future ideas at the moment as well. Me and her.
And we did want to address also some just the things going on. Of course, as a lot of you know, I did have some things going on in my family. Rare's had some things going on as well, and we did make some initial plans for a Kooky Questions episode that was Smash Brothers related. This was, of course, like mainly just somewhat a limited series, but we were playing on the Smash Brothers, but things came up where it just became necessary to at least put that very much on the back burner for now.
Yeah, and that's well said. We were talking about this like just very briefly before stream, but yeah, it's definitely on the back burner for now. And we actually had this idea where, like, when me and Drew started it, it was always sort of consult Twitter, consult the community, and then discuss amongst ourselves. But we didn't want to exclusively bind ourselves to both either Twitter or a group thing. We did want to try, and it was awesome. And and like he said, it probably will be awesome in the future. But those podcast formats.
Not to interrupt you, I do need to take a call for just a second here. Be right back.
Oh no. Time that Drew had some stuff going on with his family, as he said, and it just was a perfect time for it. Actually, I don't know if Drew left it on. Can you guys hear me right now? I just left for a brief second. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but let me know in the chat if you can. Oh, thanks, video games. Well, okay, I don't want to leave him in the dust here. We just both left for a second. I messaged him as he left. But yeah. And hey, Rare Fox Sane, thanks for joining. You guys, if you haven't checked out Rare Fox Sane's YouTube channel, definitely give it a check out. She's got a really cool channel. Enter Game Escape is her series that she's doing right now. Really good. In fact, we've been talking a little bit about it. I think Drew is actually going to be a voice contribution to the series. So keep an eye out for that in the future, I think.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I just got back here. Funny story about that. We play a tooth fairy in our family, and my wife informed me that she forgot to put the money under the pillow before my son gets home from school. So I just had to run and quickly get that money under that pillow there. So we just took care of that.
Tooth Fairy hits traffic sometimes. It happens.
Exactly. Tooth Fairy, that's what we do. We text the truth. We tell the kids we text the Tooth Fairy, or she texts us and says, sorry, there was a delay, and like things like that. So we have fun with it.
Yeah, there's too many teeth that were falling out that particular day.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, but yes, I did want to also acknowledge Rare Fox Sane, and I think I just heard you talking at the end about her video series where we're trying to get the English version together there, and we're excited to finally get that to you when it's all ready there.
Yeah, and honestly, it's really cool to see like Rare Fox Sane I saw some years ago doing some art, and it's really cool to see her like really branching out on this animation, and it's quite cool. The story is really cool. I definitely like it, and like we said before, check it out.
And we have our first slope that we can now conquer now.
Now you really have to speedrun Banjo-Kazooie, Drew, is what video gaming videos said.
That's something I have thought about sometimes, and I think, though, definitely in terms of speedrun, you definitely would be easier to, of course, use the N64 version because the text skipping, things like that. If I do speedrun it, though, it's like I'm not going to be like a glitch speedrunner. I'm going to be like just 100% do as fast as I can. And I know I'll have to look up like the routes that people use for that kind of a speedrun.
Yeah. Do like an old faithful. I think there's only one time, maybe two, but there's one time every playthrough I do use a little clip skip. Is actually Machine Room that we were talking about earlier, because you can kind of just like there's a few ways to get through there, but you can like kind of crouch in between the window slights, like when you press the switch to turn off the engines to get the jiggy behind the propellers, and you can just kind of flip through that window. And I've kind of mastered that to where I use that every time now.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely some cool tricks in there. But I prefer mostly, for lack of a better term, Old Faithful, going through the old way that I was used to. And the routes are really cool to learn in, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And we have here Brentilda, who was, in Greg Mail's own words, like, designated to, I forgot the name, the phrase he used. Something video games pile or something. This is
basically the rubbish bin.
The rubbish, yes, the rubbish. They put her in the rubbish game pile. Grunty, press your. I wasn't paying. I gotta remember these salted slug and baked beans. Gets her clothes from the trash can. Yep.
It's funny. So I used to just read it in her voice and then just emphasize like the trash can, like, just and then somehow it would like stick in my head. Salted slug.
For some reason, I picture like a very Snow White, very perky kind of voice coming out of her, and it just sounds hilarious to me.
Yeah, just every time I just imagine her horrified when the text like shakes, like she's just like cringing, trying to tell you the information.
Oh man, exactly. Need to do something else at rest, but don't worry, I'll do it later. No worries. I mean, like, content creation is difficult. You know, just it's like it is so hard. I mean, there's lots of different things you can do. It's an incredibly vast, landscape of things you can do. I don't know. It's like, but succeeding in it is difficult, and making something good is difficult.
Yeah, it's like anything. It's like equal parts something that you continually have a passion for, and then equal parts something that other people can enjoy. Is like, yeah, definitely tough. And like kind of like we were saying with Cookie Questions, sometimes you have to take a step back to take a few steps forward.
And we have to say though, Cookie Questions is definitely something that were like the two things lined up perfectly in terms of like both our passion for it and honestly the relative like response that we got for it. It was fantastic, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, for sure. And that is one of those things like timing and like Drew said, are like-minded passions is like, yeah, just lined up in such a like kind of lightning in a bottle way. And actually, since we were cut off on that one earlier, I do want to say we have ideas for the future of that, and I don't want to jump the gun and give too much away just yet. But yeah, we are thinking about some other things that we've actually had in the pipeline for quite some time.
Yes.
Life has just had some things coming up for both of us, and stay tuned for that. And sometime in future, we have a few ideas still. But yeah. And yeah, no, appreciate you as well, Rare Fox saying. But yeah, it's like Drew said, it's like content creation. And I used to stream quite a bit. I've actually not streamed for a long time now. I used to use Mixer predominantly as my streaming platform, and I was super happy hitting 100 followers, just that milestone. Then continuing it.
Is Mixer even around anymore? It's gone?
No. Nope, that was the end of the story. So I was really getting into Mixer, and then really regularly streaming on it, and then Microsoft, I didn't even know Microsoft owned it, to be honest, but Microsoft just said we are no longer seeing worth in keeping this up, and they nuked it. So there went my streaming stuff. I did move over to Twitch for a little bit, but then I ended up moving to Utah from Washington State, and at that time in 2020. And around 2020, 2021, maybe end of 21, I think is when I kind of stopped streaming. So like I say, sometimes you have to take a few steps back to take a few steps forward.
Oh yeah, so in the video you mentioned the beginning of October, over where you're at, it is now October 1st. So yeah, happy early spooky month. I will mention that I have an idea for it. I think it's going to be a solo project, but I think I have an idea for it that may involve at least I'll just tell you, my idea is adding narration to a famous Halloween-themed type game. You know, one for the SNES, no less. So you can take your guesses there. But yeah, a classic spooky-themed game that I think I'll be adding a narration of sorts to.
I'll be honest, Drew. When you talked about this idea prior, I 100% thought it was Luigi's Mansion. Now I don't know.
Oh, yes. Luigi's Mansion. I'll admit though, I have had the idea of the 5th anniversary of Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming up. I believe didn't it come out 2019?
I believe 2019. Yeah, you're right. It was 2019. Yep.
Snacker smells tasty dinner. Stay just there. Lovely.
And the only reason I think I remember that was because 2018, I think they had another trailer of Luigi's Mansion 3 alongside the reveal of Tears of the Kingdom and the Banjo-Kazooie trailer. I think it was all in that E3.
I think you're right. I think they did have a trailer for it.
I think it was one of the last trailers, but yeah, I think that was all in that same E3. Yep, and yet Video Games says, yep, 2019. Oh, and no worries at all, Rare Fox saying, if you have to go, definitely prioritize school and sleeping for school over the streams. But thanks for joining us, for sure.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you being here as always. But the idea I've had for Luigi's Mansion 3 is, I don't know if I can do that or to what degree that I could do it, but basically playing it as Luigi. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it's an idea I've had.
That would be great. Mm-hmm. There was a few people, I don't know if they were on TikTok or Vine or what have you, but there were a few people, I don't know if they did full playthroughs, but they would duet with other cosplayers and do voices as Mario. And there's a guy, and I think you're aware of him, his name's Have a Rotten Day.
Oh yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's just this fantastic Wario cosplayer and impressionist. And the guy's humor it's just great. And he does a lot of really good cause stuff as well, but his humor in general and his impressions are hilarious.
Oh yeah,
he's definitely
He's great. But again, here, everything talks, even the gold. Like, what the heck is gold supposed to sound like?
This is why we have Grant Kirkhope to answer these type of questions for us.
Exactly. He came up with quite a few of the sound effects for these like voices, didn't he?
In fact, this is why Grant holds this game so close to his heart. He always says, I mean, not only because of like the fact that so many people remember him for it, but at Rare, in his time in Rare, he had always been either contributing to sound effects, contributing to the soundtrack, or contributing to porting a soundtrack, etc. But he never had the full helm to both lead the sound effects entirely and the soundtrack entirely. Banjo-Kazooie was Grant's, like, I don't want to say swan song because that's not right, but it was like the beginning more so. It was like the first time that he had like shown what he can do in a full lead role. Like the whole soundtrack is all Mr. Kirkhope, and all the sound effects are all Mr. Kirkhope, or at least his ideas of directing people to make those sound effects on the team. Like, it's just one of the reasons he holds it so highly, and it's really cool. That was his first full lead project that he did both those two roles on.
That's pretty awesome. And then the thing about Banjo-Kazooie has so much personality, and then all these characters, just because of the different sound effects for each of them there. I mean, that adds so much like flavor and character to the game. Oh man. I hate when I do something like that. I gotta find a way back on here, maybe. Nope. I gotta get the right angle. But it can be tricky with this camera sometimes. Here we go. Maybe. No. Gosh, I'm gonna just...
I think mine was delay. Were you doing the jump from the wall to the top of the castle?
Yes, that's what I was doing.
Let's see.
Okay, I'm just gonna get on here again and not fall off this time.
That Talon Trot jump also has like a lot of distance. When you Talon Trot jump and then is it I forget the name of the Tat-a-tat rap or something? What is the name of the Kazooie's peck attack?
Oh yeah, I think it's called the Rat-a-tat rap. I believe that is correct, yes.
Yeah, something like that. There you go.
Here we go. This game teaches you spelling!
Yeah, the amount of cheats too, like I knew quite a few when I was a kid, but there's a lot growing up that I've learned that people have told me that, or they've learned off the internet, like a bunch I didn't know about in this game. Here's one of the bullies of Banjo-Kazooie in this cage, rightfully so.
Yeah, and he doesn't put up that much of a fight though, thankfully.
No, not like Mr. Vile, where he's literally invincible.
Yeah, he is. Mr. Vile, I mean, like, man, of all the characters that I wish, like, came back for, like, a repeat in any other games, that would have probably been one, for sure.
Yeah, that could have been really hilarious, too, like, his ego being damaged by, like, the duo beating him in the first one.
I know, and maybe redesign him, like, put it on a top hat on him or something, make him bipedal, or, I don't know, I just feel like there's potential there.
It's almost like you just described how they brought back Congo. Like, just put a top hat on him. I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was glad that Congo came back as like a circus ringleader type thing in Witchy World. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I did get the gold here. I just didn't give it back to the hippo here.
Captain Blubber himself.
Mm-hmm.
Another missed opportunity, Sea of Thieves.
Seriously, what? I mean, like, Banjo-Kazooie is like rife with pirate themes and characters and everything else. A whole bunch of the franchise. There's a whole level that's a pirate theme. They couldn't have recreated it in some way in the game. I don't know.
It's funny because they literally recreated like the Pendragon, which is from one of like Ultimate Play the Game's earliest works. It's actually one of the games that Greg Mayles really liked, as that man has loved pirates. I don't know if his whole life, but at least his whole gaming career. It's pretty evident.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the things that made him join Rare. But they duplicated that and they recreated that shit from back in that classic Ultimate Play the Game in Sea of Thieves. But I'm just shocked, given that there was Dream and Banjo-Kazooie, that they haven't brought in like I mean, yeah, Captain Blubber, but most importantly, Captain Black Eye. Like, I'm just surprised.
I've always been surprised that, Captain Black Eye hasn't shown up in some way. I don't know, maybe it's just because, like, honestly, I think it's just because they want Banjo fans to not clamor more for a new game. That's why.
We could say that, but at the same time, they continually, like, I think it was in 2019 or 2020 when they were, we know how many of you have been asking for a new Banjo.
And then they did that. That was mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean.
So, we can say all day that they don't want to rile up the fan base, but they continually once in a while are like, I don't know, I'm kind of bored. Let's just poke the Banjo fan base a little bit. Like, know that we know that they're there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm glad Rare still maintains that humor. But man, like you said, that was a little abrasive.
A little bit, just a little bit. Rare couldn't leave the pirate theme out of BK after their original vision. Yes, exactly, because a Project Dream was like about pirates and all that. And then pirates have always been a thing with Greg Mayles. He just loves pirates from like Donkey Kong Country 2 and like all kinds of games that he sprinkled that sentiment in.
And everything I can think, like, it's, if you look back at Greg Mayles and what he's worked on, to some small capacity, it's almost everything up until even Grab by the Ghoulies. Like, it's just, even Viva Pinata, there's always something just sprinkled in there. The man, I think it kind of almost was his quote-unquote project dream to be able to be like one of the leads on Sea of Thieves. The man's been clamoring after a pirate game, it seems like, for a long time.
Oh yeah. I gotta learn to jump here.
I know there's a lot of different opinions, even in the Rare community itself, about Sea of Thieves, and I'm glad that Sea of Thieves is doing so well, but it is, if nothing else, really cool that Greg Mayles was able to get that completely pirate-themed game. And yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in Sea of Thieves, in my opinion. Some old Rare fans that I've got to, one of my biggest like accomplishments, in my opinion, some of my older Rare friends that I've gotten to play, from most of them, really, at least even if they don't enjoy the full MMO experience, they always have elements they enjoy, like classic Rare sprinkled in there, and the team voicing things, the humor, Greg Mayles writing, things like of that nature. Some of the humor is still there.
But I'm just trying to get like a view of like everything that's like this. I love like going to the top of levels and just kind of seeing the design like as much as you can, just kind of seeing how they all like drew it out, and then they just made it just. Made it from their plans. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and like Greg Mayles said, one of his biggest design points was to have some like centerpiece or some point that the whole level kind of revolves around. I think in this point, it's right where you are at, right on top of the lighthouse.
The circular design all the way here, and I think it works well. Yippee! Snacker gets dessert too.
And I guess, I'm trying to think, like, because it's kind of reminiscent of, like, Womp's Fortress, almost, but because how you kind of start from the bottom, you can make it all the way to the top. It's kind of like a circular, like, climb, almost. I guess there's quite a few old platformer levels that are really good, kind of around that design concept.
Exactly, even a lot of Mario 64 levels. And I did want to maybe talk briefly about that makes me think about my own history with this game a little bit, just because, of course, Mario 64 was like a megaton like nuclear bomb that went off in the gaming landscape. Playing that for the first time might be my single greatest gaming memory. But then, like, just a few years later, I'm at the Sears, and I see this new game. And I think Mario 64, but it's just like it felt like something like even beyond what I'd played before. It really, really cool.
Yeah, I remember one of my first memories of Banjo-Kazooie at all. Like, I remember there were some commercials I saw. I think it was like the three criminals or whatever at the campsite, like telling a story about like he had huge teeth. Like,
oh yeah, telling the campfire. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the bear, and he's like, yeah, sure, that happened, and pigs can fly. And then the 90s narrator, no, pigs can fly.
You know that I realized that like Grant Kirkhope uses that as a comparison oftentimes with whether or not Banjo-Kazooie will ever come back.
I know, and I don't understand why he, like, that one time, I don't know what his wallpaper is or his banner is on Twitter now, but he changes it or he changed it rather to the pig that is flying in his banner. It's like, what the heck does that mean?
I know. I think it's just like, It's hard to say.
Well,
It's really, really hard to say. I mean, like, no one knows what Garen Kuroko truly thinks ever since 2019. No one.
Yep. I was gonna say now we can't trust him at all. So who knows? But I love that he's still teasing a little bit. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If only it didn't have to be such a tease.
I know, but even so, like even back in March at the Game on Expo earlier this year, I think he meant it when he said that. Yeah, like, and it surprises me. Like he just said flat out, I don't think there'll ever be a new Banjo-Kazooie game. That's what he said, and like, dang, it's hard to hear one of the people who like this game was like your baby, and like to feel that way. I mean, like, regardless of whether or not it ever comes back, that's the way he feels, and he feels that probably because from like people he's talked to in the know about that. You know, it's disheartening a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's similar to how like Insomniac was commenting about Spyro, and I think like it's like if it comes back, I don't know what he said about remasters and stuff, but I guess it's like that's or remakes rather. I guess there have been remasters, but it seems like that's more in the realm of possibility. I think that's why it's a constant point of discussion in the community. Because I guess even thinking about it, without Greg Mayles and without some of the team, it's like even if it did have some of that, where would you go next? There's a lot of possibilities, like, and there's a ton of potential, but it is a tough one. It's like with Nuts and Bolts. I could see why they were somewhat wary. And I know you're playing Nuts and Bolts now.
Yes.
But I mean, the backlash that got, there was quite a decent positive reception, but like they said, it was a very 50-50 thing. There's a lot of good elements to that game, but I can understand some of the backlash at the time.
And I'm playing through it right now, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a great game, but it came out at the wrong time for the wrong franchise. That's kind of what I'm starting to think. You know, it was just a lot of it was timing.
Yeah, I agree. They could have even had it like almost like that concept Fangamer has made with Rare as a merch idea, like just Rare Racers and just include Banjo-Kazooie. But I feel like they marketed it wrong as well, especially the first big trailer that had the most views on it with like just showing Banjo-Kazooie at Spiral Mountain with all the collectibles and all the classic stuff that a lot of it didn't even make it in the game. So it's like, why would you do that to people? It
was kind of funny. Like, you could call it a bait and switch, but you could also look at the trailer and stuff like, yeah, they were hinting at it, you know, like there were blueprints, there was the fact that everything was constructed and all those little things, you know, those little things, but like the only... Mm-hmm.
His design was fully revealed right there, so it's not like that was like a jump scare for anybody. Like that's basically what he looks like in Nuts and Bolts in that first trailer that they teased.
Exactly. At the same time, it's like that trailer showed them doing stuff, like trying to feel like him using like Kazooie as a drill and things like that, and it's just like nope.
Exactly. I know, because that's why, like, even back then when I watched it, it's like your brain starts going off of like, oh, dude, like Buzzsaw Bill or something, like that could be a move.
Exactly.
But oh well. But I don't know. There's still potential, and like we've talked about this before. But like I do think Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is a good game. I just think, like we said, it was a bad timing, bad marketing approach for that timing, and I just feel like people didn't know how to take it as like, as John Tron said, like Banjo-Kazooie with cars. Like that was one of my favorite videos. Just that.
Yeah, just the reaction alone is just great. As a reminder for anyone else who's watching, we are hosting this live stream to try to raise awareness and contributions for like the relief efforts over out east for Hurricane Helene. Thanks again for a video for the contribution of $10. We are looking to get as much as we can during this live stream. We think it's an important effort, and any contributions are welcome. If you're not able to contribute, share the stream, let people and see like who. To people who might be able to donate here today. We appreciate everything that you guys do here.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, thanks again, Video Gaming. And oh yeah, you were saying about why Rare didn't do an adaptation of Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Sea of Thieves actually has a whole like section of it that actually is an adaptation of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they actually did do a Pirates of the Caribbean adaptation, which is honestly one of the coolest, kind of honestly just like one of the coolest crossovers Rare has done, objectively speaking.
yeah, it's not the first Disney crossover, strangely enough. I think they've had 3, but yeah, no, it was super cool, and there's it just the experience of it in general, like the first little chapter of that, and it's free DLC, by the way. It's like, I mean, that's kind of how Sea of Thieves does, but yeah. So if you play it, the first little chapter is like purposefully very reminiscent of the classic ride of the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney. They actually add an entire lore to that world, like what that world is, how these guys are like ghost spirits kind of stuck there suspended. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I guess if you already collected the eggs in one game file, they don't appear again. So I guess it's not there.
Yep.
I guess it's not there.
That's one of the perks of the Xbox port. I should have paid attention on that. But yes, I think on N64, actually, once you collect it on one game file on N64, I think it's the same thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not intricately familiar with how that works there.
Yeah, it's one of those differences, like we said. I'm not too sure about either. But a video game says, although the Kingdom Hearts series adapts the films, yeah, that's true. Square Enix. I mean, I do like Kingdom Hearts. The lore is just something that like I have to kind of just take it for what it is, because sometimes my brain like reels, kind of not being able to grasp 100% what's going on, because there's so many places to grasp lore from, like the mobile games and like small shorts, and I like Kingdom Hearts and I respect Kingdom Hearts. In fact, Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of my favorite video games, but man, is that lore confusing.
It is really. I tried watching like a one of those nutshell videos trying to explain it all, and I'm just like
6-hour break.
Like what?
Kingdom Hearts lore.
Like I couldn't get it. And I realized that I believe earlier I totally forgot to get the jigsaw piece as the termite outside of Mumbles Mountain there. I totally forgot.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, oh well. That might be, I don't know, I'll just have to go back for it.
That shows that I'm not really having your back here on the performance of this.
Yeah, I walked out with the termite and then, nope, I just kept going.
Well, like we said during Kooky Questions, this is one of those things where it's like conversation, reading chat, trying to play a game. It's impressive feat. It's like one of those doing jumping jacks while patting your head and rubbing your belly.
A little bit, yes. Now, I did, do I just want to get it now while I'm thinking about it? Yeah, I can take a few minutes to do that.
Yeah, take the detour. Might as well. Now it's in the mind, but and video gaming saying Kingdom Hearts 2 though is one of his favorite games in general. Totally agree. Kingdom Hearts 2, that's another one, like another chapter of my life. It kind of came out when I was kind of just going into my angsty teens. I was like 12 to 13, I think. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, especially like Twilight Town. It's just a very somber, bittersweet. It's nostalgic even in your first playthrough of the game, because the game kind of designs it that way. Like you experience something, and the opening of the game is like 2.5 hours just before you even see the title screen. So
the opening is quite long.
Yeah, but it's actually brilliantly designed, both like plot-wise, like story, the emotional impact it has, but also just establishing like the game mechanics at the beginning. It's really brilliant, really cool game.
I will say though, I think if you didn't play the bridge in between, what's it called? If you didn't play the in between, I think it could be a little bit confusing.
And I can say firsthand, absolutely, that's true. But it's funny because like part of Kingdom Hearts 2, in my opinion, it's like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Well, you can play.
Why am I going this way? I already went this. Oh my gosh! You can
play Kingdom Hearts 2 without knowing, because Sora doesn't remember anything, and it's like so it's actually sometimes there's a value to playing Chain of Memories in hindsight. Chain of Memories is a rough game, but they have remade it, and it's a little more doable. I would suggest, to be honest, and I think my brother could advocate this as well, just watch a playthrough if you can't handle it, because my goodness, it's a little rough. I think it's a Game Boy Advance.
I did try playing like the PS2 version a while ago, and like there's just so important where I'm just like, this is such a weird combat system, like incredibly difficult, where it's like they make it turn-based but real-time at the same time, and it just is really difficult to manage.
Yeah, it's definitely original, and I'll give props, but it's a little, I have the exact same thing about it. It's a little difficult for me to manage.
Oh yeah.
This is, well, the opening Twilight Town segment does take about 5 hours. The entire one? Wow.
Oh wow.
That could be right. Well, depending on how quickly you get the money to go to the beach, yeah. And then he's saying, "Hey Drew, I see you get distracted like I do in the morning, so I have an important question to ask this fine morning. Would you like some toast?"
Would I like some toast? I think I'm.
One quick video, because like for us, I feel like, oh yeah, we're in the same area. We're about 4 p.m. over here.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm good. I think I'm not exactly of the mindset for toast at the moment.
You know, it's funny just seeing like this art style. Like that's one of the cool things about, like we were talking about earlier about Banjo-Kazooie, is like, and I love it. I think it depends on the crowd of the community that you're talking to, and a lot of people appreciate it. Some people, it's not their favorite aspect, but just the dinginess, like this
Oh yeah,
otherworldly, mythical, dingy darkness. Like it just has such a vibe to it that like I just always associate with, like, honestly, almost Tim Burton-y, like having seen Beetlejuice last night, like that's fresh in the mind. But almost like that vibe. Even Grant's approach on the music, he's actually said before that Danny Elfman was a bit of an inspiration to him on that.
Specifically, like the Oompa Oompa. You know, he did mention that.
Yeah.
And that's I'm trying to think. Yeah, in that little panel they had, that was really interesting.
Yeah, and he's always advocated that stuff, and like I'm a big fan of like the Psychonauts. I love Double Fine, the game developer, but Psychonauts especially. That's another one where, like, if you listen to Meat Circus, or the theme to the Psychonauts games, very reminiscent of Danny Elfman, and especially like Beetlejuice. Really cool stuff. Really good music. I always love that tritone kind of oompa 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 oompa. Love that stuff.
It's awesome stuff. And here we have Clanker, who and it's honestly, I think, is one of the most interesting centerpieces of any level, like, ever. This is the Great Water level. It's probably my favorite one of all time overall.
Seriously, I have to agree, and that's one of those things. Like, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of Banjo fans that are like, nah, Clanker's not. They make like tier lists. I'm sure you've probably seen those like different world tier lists. But a lot of people aren't fans of Clankers, or at least they don't put it in their top. I absolutely adore Clanker's Cavern. It's one of my top levels for sure.
I really like it a lot, and just because, like, I don't know, I find it to be like, you know, have a decent challenge, but like, and it has a little bit of that tenseness to it, but nothing too severe. And I don't know, I like the whole vibe of just like Clanker himself, this giant mechanical shark thingy.
Yeah, literally Grunty's garbage disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool how it's like, it's just this weird waste thing of like stuff Grunty's dumped, and like just radioactive waste to make those weird, like the little, I forget their names at the moment. It's gonna bother me. But the mutated little crab boys.
Oh yes.
Their name.
Mutant snippets.
Snippets. I kept wanting to say flibbits. Thank you, Drew. But yeah,
Yep.
like I love that type of stuff. Like I just love that it's like basically just a giant garbage disposal unit for Grunty in her lair. Like, and poor Clanker has just been utilized for that.
You just made me think of Homestar Runner. I don't know if you've watched that much back in the day, but you made me think of Teen Girl Squad, where like one girl literally dies from a garbage disposal, and he's like, "Garbage disposal, what a way to go! Garbage disposal, meet so and so."
My girlfriend says you sound exactly like Strong Bad.
Nice. I've been on a slight Homestar Runner kick recently. Just like, honestly, like one thing that the Chapman brothers recently did is that they released like almost every single piece of music from the series is in several albums now.
Yes, and my girlfriend's actually drawing a Trogdor piece right now. But in this house, we respect Homestar Runner.
Nice.
But yeah, that's one of the coolest things too, because like even talking about Trogdor, like I absolutely love. I mean, most of my humor in that show, I love all of it, but most of my humor centers around Strong Bad. Like, I absolutely adore
Strong Bad, and like it was all done by just two people. They made like hundreds of cartoons and games. They did everything like on one website. It was like you could do everything there.
Yes, it's really cool. There's so many great works that have come from just the inspiration of a lot of times just a group or just two individuals. Like it's awesome. It's definitely super cool. And that Flash animation, the fact that they're one of like the earliest like whole websites established off of that, and like I remember them from back in the Newgrounds days. It's just super cool. It's even nostalgic at this point. It's amazing how many years have passed. Sometimes I have to kind of remind myself. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like I'll watch a video telling me how old it is, and I'm going, what? 15 years? What do you mean?
Gosh, they had their. I mean, they had like a 20th anniversary concert 8 years ago. And it's like now it's getting close to 30 now. Yes, they had a special 20th anniversary concert, like I believe, like sometime in like because Homestar Wonder existed before 2000. It actually did.
Yeah,
I think
I found it in like 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, yeah, that's crazy to think about. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I have to try to escape the reminder always that I'm getting older.
Yes.
Time marches on.
Time keeps marching on, and I'm thinking to myself, like, someday I'm going to be like the old dude in the Banjo-Kazooie commercial playing the game.
Dude, I completely accept that. I accept that role. The Fruit by the Foot commercial. That was one of the few that I also like loved back in the day. The various like Fruit by the Foot and like Keebler commercials associated with those games. I love those. But yeah, I would definitely proudly take that role of the old guy wearing the 90s clothes, like talking like a skateboarder bro, playing Banjo-Kazooie and eating God knows how old Fruit by the Foot.
Oh yeah. Fruit by the Foot, I mean, I have to say that it's delicious stuff, but man, it gets sticks to your teeth so bad.
Yeah, because like there was a bunch of those guys. I think Fruit by the Foot was one where they had to like, after the 90s at some point, I think the FDA was like, all right, you got to change a few things.
Oh yeah,
they did.
When are they gonna drop the hammer on Lunchables though? And oh my gosh, the whole thing, like the Mr. Beast thing. Oh my gosh, like
the Lunchly.
The Lunchleys, I think is what they're. Yeah, that's like.
There's a couple. I mean, KSI. I'm not really familiar with KSI, but like, I am familiar with the Paul brothers, unfortunately. Yeah, that's an interesting business venture. Mr. Beast has made some questionable things. I'm not going to go into that lately.
Yeah.
I've always been on the guy. He's done some good, and I will acknowledge that. And if he's not a great, if he doesn't make great choices from here on out, that's on him. But at least he's done some good stuff. The Lunchly thing, yeah, we'll see.
I guess. Video mentions here that the Plucky Squire recently reminded him of Banjo-Kazooie. I haven't played that one, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, that just came out like a week or so ago. Like that, it looks really cool. In fact, like a lot of it just draws from like 2D animation style, and then like almost like claymation like inspiration. Like when you come out of the book into the like real world, quote unquote. Like, yeah, it's so cool. I mean, it looks really, really cool to me. Have you seen any gameplay of that game yet, Drew?
Gameplay? No, I haven't really. I think I saw maybe one little trailer for it. I don't remember much about what was in it. And like,
I think they had one during a Nintendo Direct or an indie or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Drew being an old guy saying stuff like, "Hey, remember that '90s game with a bear and a bird?" And we'll still be waiting for the new game. We'll still be waiting.
I was gonna say if this goes long enough, eventually that message just might be completely true. It'll just be Drew and a few of us just like, "Dear back when."
We're all slowly turning into Cranky Kong, like every single one of us.
Honestly, I think Cranky Kong had a few things right, but one thing I know for sure, at least I don't know if this is actually canon, but I believe it's like teased or established kind of that he was kind of the one that stole Pauline, right? I think like at least that was the original intent.
The original Donkey Kong kidnapped Pauline, yes.
Because like after the Mario vs. DK, everyone brings up there's a lot of different theories now, because that sort of makes it sort of like it kind of muddies the water almost a little bit. But I mean, those games are still fascinating. I respect them a bunch. Like I actually love I think it's called Donkey Kong 97 or 94.
94, yeah, 94. That was the GB one.
Yeah, and I just got that game on as well, and that one's great. And you can totally tell where Mario vs. DK like derived from that gameplay. And it's really cool. I actually really like that type of challenge level by level. I really like that stuff. But
I
yeah.
played that I think I played that way back then on like a for like the DS eShop or something like that. I don't remember when it was I played, but yeah, I remember it was really, really good.
I think it was on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it possibly, but I never got it till recently. But yeah, it's definitely really good. And there's a lot of cool stuff where, like, if you actually look at that game, like Mario's like backflip in his handstand, like, and his like spinning on like things that he holds with his hands, like all that stuff that kind of eventually made it into 3D games. It all started in that Donkey Kong 94. Surprisingly, it's like really cool actually.
There are quite a few things, and I did notice a post the other day where like someone was saying like Yoshi's Island is officially like a Yoshi game, and then someone else took the note that the Yoshi's Island had a huge impact on the Mario series itself.
Yeah, that must be true. I'm trying to think. So, because Yoshi's Island came out right after, I don't know how long after, but it was the next like Mario-esque game right after Super Mario World.
And it was like it had stuff like that carried over, like red coins and like just little things here and there. And
was that the first red coin?
yeah, so Yoshi's Island was the first game with red coins.
Wow. Yeah, because it's like blue or bluish, purpley coins in whatever it was in World. Wow, I never even realized that about Yoshi's Island.
But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and that pre-render style, like that Miyamoto went for with like that, just like how it looks like it was all drawn out. Like I absolutely love it. Like that's one of the coolest art styles, especially on SNES catalog. Like it's so good, aged so well.
And it aged incredibly well. And I need to just take a breather for just a few minutes, guys. So where Aaron's in, you can kind of keep just chat going, and I'll be back in probably about 3 to 5 minutes or so. I just gotta take a little breather, and we'll be right back. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Actually, I think I'll probably take a little break too, so maybe we'll do an intermission here.
Sounds good. We'll do a little 3 to 5 minutes here. Sounds good.
All right, be right back, guys.
Thanks.
And yeah, seeing some updates about the hurricane just barely. Definitely, our hearts go out to the areas affected. Especially, we have a lot of friends, and Casey has some family in Florida, and it seems like Florida is getting hit a lot harder than the anticipated predictions were from 2 days ago. So definitely, anyone that's out there, please, hopefully you guys are staying safe, and yeah, definitely our hearts go out to you guys. It's looking really tough right now in the affected areas.
Oh, it really is. And Sam and Casey, we see that you just went ahead and contributed $10 as well. Thank you both so much.
Oh, of course. I was during the intermission. I was like, all right, this is a perfect opportunity because I was trying to bring it up, some of my banking information and such throughout the stream. So yeah, perfect opportunity, and definitely a good cause. And appreciate everyone who even just supports the stream or tweets out the link or tweets out the stream or reshares or whatever. It's a good cause, and had to try to muster something to be part of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have to say, like, and just these, I love these textures. I think, like, in the overall game, I think the part that always gets me the most is right here in Clanker's Cavern. I think these are just some of the most impressive textures ever created for a game of this era. I mean, this just, like, still looks really, really good.
You know, it's so funny. It's such a thing that we take for granted. I've had many conversations in the past, like on replays, especially when I was around like 17, 18 years old, when I really came back and revisited this stuff from 2012 to like 2014 back in the day. But that's actually when I made the Rare Warrington name, when I made a DK Bind account and eventually a Twitter and such. But those textures are impressive, but on Clanker specifically, man, are they gruesome.
Yeah, they are a bit gruesome. I mean, we see even on the eyeballs here, we see the veins, and like, you know, I actually, back in the day, I told myself that was like, I didn't know what I thought it was blood, or maybe it's rust. But no, it looks like it's actually organic, or some way. Like,
his tooth actually aches, and I don't know, it just seems like he's this weird kind of in between of a biological and mechanical creature. The poor fella.
I know, exactly.
Needs a better landlord.
All that garbage cannot be good for his teeth. I mean, that's why he's getting the toothache.
Yeah, I wonder if he had to replace the teeth. That's why they're gold, because of the garbage processing. I don't know. maybe
the kidnapping Tootie was just a front for Banjo to go through her lair and like clean up everything, so to say.
I still question how it is he ended up the way he did in Banjo Land in Nuts and Bolts.
Yes, I'm
not even really sure what happened. He's all segmented.
I noted that on the stream where I saw him. It was just like, dang, like that's just so sad. Why'd they do that to him?
And it seems like he can still talk and he's fine to a point, but I don't know. Poor guy, he's put up with some. I think like my past living situations have been bad, but then you look at Clanker, makes you appreciate the little things.
Oh yeah, and it definitely looks. But yeah, again, in here we have like the mixture of like both metal and living tissue, like all fused and combined together.
Yeah, definitely crazy. And he obviously has a skeleton of some sort. Definitely. This is like one of the, like how the heck did they think of this back in the day? I remember before Clanker was Clanker, he was actually just kind of like a giant whale-esque shark thing that was meant to be in Fungi Forest, but like how he came to this iteration, I don't know, but I'm glad he did, because man, there's nothing like this.
No, there isn't. And you just made me remember, there was that very old Banjo-Kazooie promo where you're swimming around and Clanker looks like just a normal big shark with skin, and you hear the Fungi Forest music playing. So yeah, I remember that.
Yep, and like Greg Mails has commented that on that at some point, and yeah, I don't know, the ideas back then. It's like Drew was saying with like even with Homestar, like just when you have a team that like can like bounce ideas back and forth like that, it's any person that's imaginative is a really cool process to imagine things. But when you have a collaboration with a team or a couple people, it's really kind of a magical thing sometimes.
And here we learned the Wonder Wing, and like here, I mean, like I've always like really liked the way this move is used. Matter of fact, I like pretty much all the moves in this game, but it's I think Wonder Wing is a particularly fun one to use, and they give you opportunities to use it in just a few times in the game in a really fun way.
Yeah, it reminds me of Wait a second. Have you finished Nuts and Bolts before?
Yes, I've been in the game before. Yes.
Okay, so it reminds me of kind of like the fact that like they do comment on, and that's why in my head I feel like it's a spinoff. I treat it as a spinoff. But they comment on like at the end of the game at Nuts and Bolts when Log says sort of like, oh yeah, here's like a box of like all your old moves. There's like a jump pad and some gold and red feathers in there and stuff. And like, if you ever have another game, if you ever have another game,
yes.
whatever. But yeah, it's definitely kind of cool in my opinion how the game they do at least acknowledge it as a spin-off in a sort of at least in a sort of a way, but like I just wish they were a little more prominent on that. But I don't know, I still think Nuts and Bolts is a fun game.
It is. It is a fun game, and I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm definitely, again, just one other thing I'm doing on my channel. If you do want to see more of that, I got a number of episodes up in a playlist that you can check out there. But it's been a pretty good time. I've just kind of enjoyed the taking the time to kind of figure out the solution, like kind of as they intended. It's a lot of trial and error, but it's kind of a satisfying trial and error, I think.
Definitely.
And here we have the slow blades. I mean, you can just kind of cheese this part with wondering, but it's kind of fun to try to get through it without it.
A little extra challenge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think is that one of the bits that actually I think it's one of the bits that is in Nuts and Bolts. I think. Yeah, I think they have a tunnel or something that's like
yes.
the segmented chunk.
Then it has like the rotating wheel blades in it. That whole level is just like a nostalgia fest right there.
Oh yeah.
Hang on, which way did I think I already took that way. There we go.
I feel like I should be. I don't want a backseat game, but I feel like I should be at least paying better attention so I could at least try to do so somewhat. But
I think this is the last Jiggy right here. If I got everything, if I didn't miss anything.
Yep. I think you did get both the honeycombs, I believe.
Yes. Well, we can check our handy dandy total chart. I love this thing. Here we go.
Oh yeah. And that's one of the cool things about TUI. I think, yeah, it's in TUI. And I didn't utilize it forever, but it's nice that it's there. There's actually, in the menu, you can find like a Jiggy checklist, which is really helpful.
But yeah, videos gaming, Banjo-Kazooie Sunshine, Banjo has to clean up the island. Yep, we're just taking care of Grunty's chores because she's too lazy to do them all herself. And like I'm just thinking, like, what exactly is Grunty's lair? It's like it seems like it's just a magical portals to all these worlds that she controls. It's like it's interesting thinking about lore a little bit. I need to check out some of Jiggy's look back videos because I think it kind of dives into that a little bit more.
Yeah, he shares his theories about it. It's really cool too. It's like she has these sort of puzzles too, like they're almost like in a Mario way, like paintings that are accessing to different worlds. It seems like they made her castle out of whatever like Mary Poppins' purse is made out of, or so like everything just sort of massively fits inside this like small witch's castle. I mean, I don't know how much goes into the mountain behind it, but there's always people back in the DK Vine days talking about like the scale of Grunty's castle or Grunty's lair and how it fits in there. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool. I mean, if you've ever seen like the Fan Gamer Banjo-Kazooie poster, there's a lot of really cool things, and this also goes back to DK Vine, like Cameron Regal. He's taken inspiration from some of that, and like just sort of fan theories of drawing like a layout of how like the rare archipelago. If you've ever heard of that,
the rare archipelago. I don't think I heard that, but I did want to mention one other thing. One website that used to be pretty prominent in the Rare fandom was Rare Witch Project. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah. In fact, I think they follow me on Twitter. I think they're still around to a point. But yeah, Rare Witch Project.
But yeah, they were pretty much the go-to place for like stop and swap theories and discussion. They were like the forefront of that particular topic.
Oh yeah, definitely. Have you seen that poster, by the way, that drew the newer Banjo-Kazooie poster where it's like it lays out like the Isle of Hags and like all the locations of like Banjo-Kazooie and Tui worlds, kind of like a little theorized little headcanon thing. It's really cool, actually.
I don't think I have seen that.
I have that one on my wall in my gaming room, but I'll have to take a picture or something. But yeah, definitely really cool.
Then he mentions that Mario 64 is 28 years old.
Mario 64.
I can feel my hair just turning gray. You know, just like.
Like, what'd you say?
All right, just so you guys have an idea of where things are going to go, I think we're going to do one more level to do Bubble Glue Swamp, I'm somewhat. I don't know whether or not there will be a future Banjo-Kazooie stream. Matter of fact, though, I am thinking at this point I do want to at least do one other charity stream of some kind to try to get things out there a little bit more. But yeah, this potentially could be the only one. But yeah, this has been a really, really fun one.
Yeah, and I love it's a great cause for a little, and I love the whole sentiment, like a little special event stream. Like, I think it's great.
Oh yeah, it is.
Spontaneity is sometimes the key with these things, and I think this is like I said so many times, this is just such a great reason to do a spontaneous stream, and I'm just stoked to be a part of it, and I appreciate you inviting me.
Of course. I love that there's an extremely good Banjo-Kazooie of a video essay. I forgot the name of the channel, but it talks about how Gruntilda is like Gruntilda and Vanity. And it's amazing. And it just talks about how she builds all these effigies of all of herself and stuff. And I forgot the name of the channel though.
The whole motive for her as the antagonist is being vain, actually. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen that video essay.
But yeah, I think it's called Designing. It's like called Designing For, I think is what the name of the channel is.
I'll have to check that out.
Really good. I'll share the link if you don't find it there. Really awesome video. Gruntilda's party trick is performing. Whoa, how'd they put that in an... I've always wondered how that snuck into an E-rated game. I've always wondered that.
Rare is like the master of doing that, but that was one of the ones where it's like, what? How?
I remember when I was a kid, I cited, because I thought they were so funny, I was just like, yeah, I told my parents some of Grunty's secrets. And they were like, what is this terrible game you're playing? Like, specifically, I told them about the one where she blows up balloons with her butt, and they were like, they thought this game was so awful for me to play. But no, I'm a grown man and I can do what I want now, of course, but...
You can play the so very mature and embracive Banjo-Kazooie game.
Oh, yes.
And there are like little things though that Rare, like, some of the titles just kind of snuck by the radar, especially when it comes to Nintendo. It's like, man, like there's an infamous story. I won't go too much into it with like the thank you. Like,
oh yes, thank you. And Grant even mentioned that again. Just the panel. I think he talked about it at the panel, where it's just like said that thank. I'm not going to swear. It's a kids game.
Yeah, you really think I'm going to say that in a kids game? Like, but Nintendo was convinced that they had to make sure that it was a very, very enunciated pronunciation. My dad played a bit of Banjo-Tooie and was like, what did that character just say?
Oh, Banjo-Tooie is so much worse. In terms of the stuff overall. It is just like... And you mentioned the rated E for everyone, and the Joe, I forgot his full name, yeah, but Joe, like, did quite a bit of stuff on his channel for Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, yeah, Thumbs Up Master.
Thumbs Up Master, yes, that's his channel name.
He's kind of moved to other stuff, but yeah, he has some videos up from back in the day and some re-uploads too that I remember seeing. But one of those early content guys. There's a lot of people who have found a lot of really cool stuff in Banjo-Kazooie and the similar vein of that. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And this is definitely a route you want to take when you're playing through, is just to go back out immediately and use the waiting boots to grab this. Because you gotta break the ice so you can get in with the alligator.
Yeah, the Cheeto locations that's one of the ones. Sometimes it's nice to revisit them because on my playthroughs, that's one of the few things I skip on my return plays. Once in a while, it's cool to go back.
I'm pretty sure Grant was asked to say it in a certain way and sounded like swearing every time, so he had to settle on one sound bite for the pots. Yep, and that's such a funny story behind that all.
and I think it's too early to say, but yeah, we have some ideas regarding some of those rare devs. That's actually all I'm gonna say. But yeah, just really cool to meet those guys and like meeting Grant. And it's evident in both those panels and like his interviews, his sense of humor and like sense of just passion for the things and the music that he's created is just, it's super evident and super apparent. And he has really wholesome, inspiring sentiments that he's relayed in a few interviews where he says like, if you don't care about what you're doing, like, what's the point? Like,
Gosh, I saw that. I saw the recent video where he talked about the DK Isle theme. I was just like, dang, the heart and soul of this man.
Yeah, and it's like he said, like, if you don't care about something, like, what's the point in doing it? And like he truly believes like it shows in your work, and like it's so evident that, and like Drew said, for I think was it Respawn Records that's doing that new CD vinyl.
It's something that starts with an M. I thought, I don't remember. Materia,
right.
Materia Collective, or
Materia Collective. Yes. But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking so forward to that. I've already pre-ordered it.
At least I bare minimum I'll at least be buying it on digital for sure and such. I mean, like it's Donkey Kong 64, which in my view, I think you could make an argument is Grant Kirkhope's overall best work. That whole soundtrack. I think you could make that case.
Yeah, and like we know, me and Drew are conscious of this. We are conscious of varying opinions on that, but like we have talked about this in the past, and like we totally agree on that. Like it's like, and like really, just the varying amount of different, almost genres and just different sounding content within DK64. I don't know. A lot of that is, for me at least, some of the most emotional music that Grant's created.
It really is.
I'd say Via Pinata is right up there as well.
Viva Pinata is, oh my gosh, like there's some amazing music in there. I think Bedtime Story is like, I don't know, easily within his top 5 overall tracks. It's just very emotional piece. I love. Go ahead.
The story behind Bedtime Stories, right?
Yeah, it was literally the last piece of music he recorded while at Rare. It was kind of written as his goodbye to Rare, and knowing that context, it's just like, it's so gut-wrenching.
Yeah, and he said how all that sentiment that Drew just said, it was like the last piece he created for Rare. It was his goodbye piece to Rare. He wanted to like kind of pour his heart out on the piece, but then it was also the last piece that they recorded for the orchestra when he was still present. And he came up to the podium to kind of, thank the performers and the musicians for their performance. And he said he just was like, thank you, and then he just burst into tears. He fell apart, and the emotion is one of those things with Grant, like I said before, the passion and emotion is so evident. And that is a heart-wrenching song. It's so good, though.
It is. I'm going to mention also just the music here. It has such a cheerful little loop, and every time it goes to the hook, da 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 da. It like raises my endorphins like every time, or like the phrase, like, I don't know, serotonin or whatever the word is for it.
All accurate. Dopamine, whatever.
Dopamine, yeah, that's probably the most accurate. Yeah, dopamine.
But yeah, like this is, and I can factually say that this is one of my favorite video game songs in general, Grant Kirkhope or otherwise. Like, I love Bubblegloop Swamp. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite songs in general. And Grant has a tendency of, like, both with DK64 and some other games, he utilizes like sound effects like in the rhythm, or like monkey sounds or frog sounds in this case. Like, I love that type of stuff.
Well, running out of time, almost. There we go.
Nice. But yeah, that just the oompa, 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 and like with all the frog sound effects, it's just in the blue. It's just like, how the sound effects can complement a piece. Like, I didn't ever really think about that before listening to Kirkhope music. Like, we talk about how, and the man sells himself short. He's got that very British, like self-deprecative tone about himself, which is great for staying humble. But at the same time, he may have gotten inspiration from John Williams and Danny Elfman, but some of the stuff that Grant has done in music, like that rhythm sound effect thing and those crazy sound effects that only complement the rhythm and the sound and emphasize like the bass and such, I feel like he sells himself short, and some of the stuff he's really just imagined up. It's really good, like really great stuff, and he's a really great musician.
Yeah, he's always constantly self-deprecating, like I just remember like when I talked to him a bit, like it was before the concert, And like I told him, you know, I was excited to watch the concert later the night, and said like, oh, I hope that, you know, kind of hope everything goes well. Hope, you know, like kind of thinking that something will go wrong. You know, it's just like I don't know.
It's funny on stage when he was like, yeah, I was invited here, so basically, if anything goes wrong, it's David's fault.
It's me, Grant Kirkhope.
I just love both his humility and his sense of humor. He's great.
He really is
a great group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then videos saying, I like the swamp theme. It takes a bit of time to build, but then the frogs start singing. It's cool. Absolutely. Yeah, just like we were saying. It's definitely so original.
And I love the design of this, like the whole like branching aspect to it. There's not really so much like a central area. It's just like, you can kind of say there's a central place that where all the things branch out, but I really like how it's laid out.
Yeah, and I still am curious how, speaking about games in this vein, I'm still curious how Playtonic's going to approach this Yuka Replay League. I'm curious if they have to do a means of like keeping the design of the worlds exactly the same. And I'd be fine if they did. I've kind of fallen in love with what it is as a game itself. But I wonder how they're going to approach that. And if they don't change that, I wonder how they'll approach a sequel that they've sort of been teasing. Can't help but wonder.
I really wonder what else they're working on, you know, because, you know, they said, you know, they're working on stuff. And I'm really excited about Yuka Replay as well. I think good chance it's a Switch 2 launch title. I think there's a good chance that will happen.
I'm really thinking the same. And I feel like that's why we haven't... They more than likely have dev kits. It was rumored like last year that they'd send out dev kits in pre-preparation, but I wonder if that's part of the contributing factor of why they haven't announced the release date maybe. Well, I think I'm 100% with you on that one.
Yeah, and going into that topic alone, I think this is the month. This is the month we will see the Switch 2. We will know. It will no longer be like theory and speculation. It'll be something we actually behold and can talk about.
So it was interesting. A lot of people were saying September too, because there was so much talk amongst devs and like industry people. Yeah, I wonder. I kept thinking, and maybe, you know what? I'll just go out on a limb. I still think that Nintendo will wait till after the holiday season. I think Nintendo wants to capitalize on one final last holiday season big push for their current hardware, but it seems to deviate from what most people are saying. Like these industry whispers I've been hearing seem to advocate what your sentiment is. Yeah, I kept feeling like maybe Nintendo would say, hey, one more holiday season to push this Switch, and then, as they promised, within the fiscal year. So they have until March to mention something or announce the Switch 2. So I guess we'll see.
Yes.
Time will tell.
Time will indeed tell. I think, they gave us until the deadline to March to announce it, you know, so could be any time from now until then. I think it's going to be, earlier in October, because their pattern in September was really, not the usual, you know, what they usually do in September, but that could just be because of the wind down season in general. But I don't know.
I forgot. Because all month people are saying, oh, maybe there won't be a September Direct. That's the word. And they've not. Wow, they didn't. What day are we? Are we 30?
We're 30. The September 30th.
Wow. We didn't get a Direct in September. I think it's the first time in 8 years.
Yeah, we didn't get a mainline Direct this year.
Holy moly.
And in September.
Yeah, that's 8 years. 8 years, Drew. You might be onto something there.
Maybe. And of course, like video mentions games coming like a DKC Returns, Metroid Prime 4. I think the question I'm wondering is Metroid Prime 4 just going to be a Switch 1 game, or is it going to be like a bridge game, you know, with a multi-platform release? We'll just have to see.
I still believe that. I still believe that Prime 4 will be their sort of Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild transitional title.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I'm excited for that game.
Me too. Been a long, long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even expect, and I pre-ordered it. Thank you, Target. I haven't received Echoes of Wisdom yet.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I did pre-order it. I won't be doing that through Target. I think it actually has to do with where I live in Utah, because I think the nearest Target is like quite far away. But anyway, regardless of my delayed pre-order, I'm just surprised the amount of games in the last little window of lifespan of the Switch, like I don't think any of us anticipated that last main direct.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
It was really good, and a shock came as quite a shock to me. I mean, Prime 4 was maybe the only one that I thought maybe we'd see a little tease of, but I didn't think we'd see that much, and I didn't think we'd see that many games, let alone a new Zelda or a 2D Zelda for that matter. Yeah, just I thought it was quite great.
Oh yeah, it really was. And I want to play. Oh shoot, I didn't remember. Was it this one? Okay.
This one I'll try to help with, but hopefully my stream's not too delayed here.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat the lesson. Okay, just gotta remember those last few.
I used to sing them to myself, but some of the colors are so similar. What are you supposed to say? Purple and magenta?
Okay, I think I got it now.
Oh yeah, and video gaming saying the same thing. Like he thinks it'll be like a transitional title, Twilight Princess Breath of the Wild. Well said. I totally agree. And yeah, like I mean, even I don't know the exact date, but I think even DKC Returns, I think is a January title.
Yeah, I think they said there was a January coming then.
So they're really pushing like all the way. It seems almost like that might have been the last main direct because they're pushing even into next year for Switch titles. So we shall see.
Awesome. Let's see. I think did I get the honeycomb up here? I'm not sure. I don't think I did yet. There it is.
I don't think so.
But yeah, just a reminder again, we are probably, after this level is over, we will be wrapping up the stream, at least shortly after that. I'll probably get the Cheeto page, do that to kind of be the very last thing. And then we'll wrap up at least the stream. Again, the link is still live even after this stream, and I'll probably will use it for maybe a few other ones that just raise as much as possible for just the cause of helping these people out east. Again, you know, if you're watching this, it does help. If you're not able to contribute to donations, you can still share the stream, drop a like, and even like subscribe, and so you can be notified of future streams and uploads. But yeah, just we're looking to do what we're able to. We're so appreciative of what we were able, even just this the $20 we have been able to raise so far. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the sentiment. I like the idea of like during the duration of this event. Hopefully, it's more slim than not, but just to utilize this link is awesome, and spreading it around is equally awesome. And yeah, I just honestly such a good cause, and I just wish the best for anyone that's affected by this.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, you know, just from the pictures and videos I've seen, like whole towns have been wiped out, and they're nothing but like piles of wood for stretches for miles around. It's just like it's hard to look at.
Yeah, and it is. And I watched some, like I said, I mean, they knew it was going to hit land, but some of the meditated theories were unfortunately not as dire as it seems the situation is, which is unfortunate. But it's just really nice to see a lot of people coming together, and Drew as well, and like this whole stream, but a lot of creators and stuff contributing. That's at least a heartwarming element to see when people just kind of put every difference aside, political or otherwise, and just help one another. Realize we're all people. Doesn't matter what color or beliefs or whatever. We're all people, and it's nice to see people helping one another.
And always is. I probably will give my own contribution of at least $10 to this as well, though, to round it up so we can get the total up to 30 at least. And like I said, we're going to be planning on doing at least some few streams with this link at a future time, or at least I don't know how many more, but I feel like it's important to do what we can to help those people out there.
Agreed. And I don't know, we might have not said, I don't know if I've said it out loud. I think I might have if you dig somewhere. But have we mentioned Cookie Quest ever?
Cookie Quest? I don't think we've ever mentioned it here on stream, the idea of Cookie Quest, no.
Yeah, I think we briefly talked about some ideas, but I don't think we've ever talked about Cookie Quest. So anyway, we've had up in the air, as we said before, and actually not to deter from the more important subject at hand, but perhaps we could put a link in, like I said, in the duration of these events if we do ever come up with content of that. But we don't have a time frame, but there are some really cool ideas. And I said this prior, but I don't know, there's some really cool stuff. In fact, stuff I've been kind of holding back that me and Drew will probably be talking about soon. But yeah, just really appreciate any support on that, and just especially this cause. Like, you guys have been really cool when it comes to like both Kooky Questions, and like Drew has been really cool when it comes to like my involvement, however minimal or whatever. And I've just loved any of the Kooky Question collab and all that sort of thing, and hopefully we can continue that in the future. And this stream in of itself, both the cause and everything, I just cannot emphasize enough. Maybe I sound like a broken record, guys, but like, if you can't donate, definitely reshare the link. But it's just a super heartwarming sentiment and cause in general.
I don't know, maybe it's just my corny 90s brain thing in here. I think Banjo-Kazooie is just such a positive thing in this world. You know, that the more people know about it, the more in general. And I don't know, I just think I just found it to be a good front for this cause a little bit, and I guess that's why I did it a bit.
I totally agree. It's all about trying to find the good in the world and trying to help, in this case, NPCs, but help whoever you come in contact with that needs the help, if you can contribute.
Well, you can get an extra life? I didn't know that. Yeah, you can. Oh. If you get 35, you get an extra life. I did not. Oh. I don't think I knew that.
I don't think I knew that.
No, that is you learn something. I feel like I learn something new every time I play this game. Some random thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a streamer named Stivity Bobo, and he said even though he's ran Banjo-Kazooie like 100 whatever times back when he said this, he's like he always finds just these little tiny things that either from the game or the developers or just a trick. It's like you can still be taken back to school from a classic that you know inside and out.
You really can. It is a little bit more difficult to do this without the speedy shoes, but still doable.
NPCs that have a lot of jiggies, yes. There is a return payment video, you're right. But yeah, I didn't know the 35 thing did that either video. It's like, yeah, it's so cool. But I think...
Oh, I ate a grumbly, no!
You're really blocking Mr. Vile out though today.
Yeah, doing what I can.
This is one of those ones that like I'm just like you, Drew. I don't use the Talon Trotters, or the what is that what they're called? Talon Trotters.
This I forgot what they're called. Turbo sneakers or something. Turbo trot.
Turbo Trotters?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Turbo something. I forgot. I forgot to eat the yellow ones.
Yeah, but I do the same. I beat it this way. I have a few friends that like they have to utilize them, but now it's gonna bother me. Turbo Trotters? Let's see here. I know Talon Trot. See if I can
at least kind of keeping up with them, but I gotta get ahead.
That's the thing. Mr. Vile is the biggest bully. He's like the
oh, come on.
Forget the name of the bully from Back to the Future, but he has that vibe. Like, make like a tree.
We made it.
Get out of here. Hooray!
This is easily one of the more difficult sections of the game overall.
Yeah, with easily one of the biggest jerks in the game overall.
Oh yeah, again, I feel like unutilized potential on this character here.
For sure, but there was a lot of return characters when like it was cool that like Steve Mails was like kind enough to upload some of the work that he had done in Maya and some of the animation, like the termites, like the tickers coming back, that didn't end up coming back, but that he animated those guys. A conga after, like post Witchy World, different characters like that if you ever saw on Twitter or in the community, they have them up like Facts About Banjo-Kazooie has a lot of that, but yeah, a lot of really cool stuff that like for Banjo X and what have you that they kind of put up. That it is a shame to see that it never saw the light of day, but it's nice that we can at least see some of the work that was contributed to that project that never made the light.
Yeah, Banjo X was such an interesting, cool idea. Definitely would have loved to see that. It just, I guess, again, just wasn't meant to be. The nuts and bolts is eventually, I guess, what they ended up settling on. And like again, we can just talk over and over again about like why they made decisions they did and all that stuff. But you know, again, nuts and bolts like is something still unique and interesting in a way, and like it. I don't know. I mean, like, there's obviously still passion behind it. There definitely is in so many respects.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say this earlier. Me and Drew talked about this on our own time, but like Grant Kirkhope and Steve Malpass, Greg Males, Stephen Hurst, Steve Males, Ed Bryan, all those original developers of the original Banjo-Kazooie, and some of like Tui exclusively, but there's clearly a passion there. Like Twilight, or excuse me, not Twilight Town, going back to Kingdom Hearts, but Showdown Town is one of the places, for me at least, it's the most evident. It just feels very Banjo-esque. The world feels like it fits right in, and the dialogue of the NPCs fits right in, and especially Grant Kirkhope and the art tone and design tone of that area just fits right in. I take nuts and bolts for what it is, but like me and Drew were talking about the other day, like for instance, the lake theme or the night theme of Showdown Town is absolutely sublime.
It is.
And there's like a lot of elements that are just super heartwarming. Absolutely love that overworld.
And Showdown Town itself is like classic Banjo design, like very much so, surprisingly.
Oh yeah, and you can thank Steve Malpass for that, who had a lot to do with Banjo-Tooie. I think he's actually solely responsible for Witchy World. As he's brought it up, that's one of his favorites, and yeah, really cool, and probably one of the most Banjo-esque areas in Nuts and Bolts.
It is. It very much is so. But it looks like we just learned the Blue Eggs cheat code. And guys, I think this has been probably one of the longer streams I've done, especially here on YouTube. But man, this has been a really, really good time. We raised $20. Again, I'm planning to go ahead and just add $10 to this myself. Going to be doing future streams, like I said, focused on like featuring this goal as well. Again, do what you can to contribute, even if it's just dropping a like, sharing the stream, and if you're able to contribute yourself, any amount helps to help these people with food, water, all the bare essentials, the bear's necessities, so to say.
The bare necessities. I was about to say that when you said bare essentials.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect. That's what what a missed opportunity.
Then maybe I should have done something with the title, but no, that would have been perhaps too on the nose.
We'll keep it more serious, but
oh man.
But yeah.
This has been great. Thank you guys so much. This has been a wonderful stream. It's been fun about playing this game and like trying to raise money for this cause. But thank you guys so much, and you all have an excellent and amazing and great night. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.